Hey everybody, welcome to the real United States, and it's time again for On This Day. We have another thing to share with you from history here in the United States that happened 50 years ago today. And unfortunately, it's about a movie. And because of that, and because of copyright restrictions and the incredibly stringent rules of YouTube and fair use and all that, I don't have any visuals from the movie to share with you. Not the marquee poster, not pictures from the movie, because it's all copyrighted material. But this is going to be more of a casual conversation, if you will. And the movie, as you probably saw from the title, if I put it in there, is Paint Your Wagon. Now, Paint Your Wagon was an unusual phenomenon, in my opinion, in the respect that the reviews, when it was released, were terrible. I mean, it was panned. To this day, I'm given to understand that review aggregation sites give it a very low rating. Now, the interesting side to that is it was the sixth largest grossing movie for the studio in 1969. It did fantastic at the box office. So, I mean, a lot of people wanted to see it and then hated it, I guess. I don't know. You know, usually when a lot of people go to see a movie is because, hey, I saw this movie, you got to go see it. You know, word of mouth, and it spread, certainly in 1969. But not the case. It got bad reviews, and but did very well in the general public. I've seen the movie. I enjoyed it. You know, it's a musical, which I understand for some of my younger viewers may seem very antiquated. Maybe not. I don't know. You know, musicals still have a good deal of popularity to this day. Certainly the blockbuster Hamilton did very well. And but at any rate, they were certainly more popular 50, 60, even 70 years ago. Now, a lot of interesting things about this movie. And one of them is that it dealt with actually a fairly controversial issue, and that was polygamy. Now, I don't necessarily know that was the main focus of the movie, but certainly it dealt with polygamy, and it dealt with it in a very reverse way. You know, often polygamy is thought of with, you know, a man with many wives. Now, whether that's, you know, a sheik with a harem, or whether that's a Mormon with many sister wives, whatever. That's usually how it's thought of. Well, in Paint Your Wagon, the two male characters, played by Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood, were both married to one woman. So she had multiple husbands, played by Jean Seberg. Lovely young woman. Anyway, so it addressed polygamy in a very unusual way. But it was set in Gold Rush era, so, you know, what would that be? You know, mid-19th century California, where there was a lot of men and very few women. So, you know, in that respect, from a purely mathematical point of view, which I know is not how society works, I guess it made sense. In my opinion, one of the more controversial movie topics in, you know, the last, more than half, last 3/4 of the 20th century. You know, my way of thinking, probably the most provocative film up to that point was Brave New World, which I'm pretty sure was made into a movie. But certainly the story, written by Aldous Huxley in 1931 and released in 1932, which dealt with reproduction and population control and human sexuality in some peculiar ways. I mean, even by today's standards, I think it would be considered peculiar. Now, Huxley came along and wrote Brave New World Revisited in 1958. All right, so quite a while later, nearly 30 years. Paint Your Wagon was written by Alan Lerner and Frederick Lowe. Very famous partnership, duo, lyricist and composer, respectively, who wrote, many big hits, My Fair Lady, and of course the romantic comedy Gigi, which starring Maurice Chevalier and Louis Jardin. Anyway, I digress. But it was, written by a very well-known, long-established partnership, which is probably why when it was adapted for a movie, why the studio picked it up in the first place, because it had that name recognition, that name power behind it. Like I say, it's remained, I think, controversial to this day, but it's anyway. The interesting thing about cinema and these movies is these are things which are truly uniquely American. This was an American film, and based on an American historical era. So I think in that respect it ties in nicely to the theme of this channel and on this day. Anyway, so if you haven't seen it, it's an amusing movie. It's not a heavy movie or anything like that. It is a musical, and it's fun, and I think that you would find it enjoyable. But anyway, it was released on this day, October 15th in 1969, 50 years ago today. And so I don't usually do cinematographic history, but I thought, well, why not? This time we'll make an exception, and I hope you've enjoyed that. If you got questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I love hearing from all of you. If you're new here, well, you never know what you're going to find. Welcome, and I hope you'll consider clicking subscribe to come along for the adventure, because we got lots more to show you. And as always, folks, well, thank you for watching. Now, for you hardcore fans who are still watching after the outro music, who have noticed that the video is longer than what it appears to be, you've noticed, I'm sure, my wood stove. And yes, I am cooking on it. Yeah, this is a little bonus footage for no apparent reason. It has nothing to do with the rest of the video. But yes, I am actually I had a bunch of beef bones. Because when we trim our beef, we just put them in a bag and shove them in the freezer. So I shoved them in the 6-quart cast iron lodge pot with some diced onion, diced carrots, and I guess there's a little bit of garlic and stuff in there. We put it in there, and I am making, well, essentially what you consider to be bone broth, which is nice because it's got all that collagen cooked out of the bones. And so the nice thing about our little wood stove, however you may feel about wood heat, is that it not only gives us, warmth in the house, but at the same time we can just put something on it that has to cook low and slow. What's the reason for the legged Dutch oven? Because I want this a little, I don't want it right in contact with the heat. I want it to cool a little bit. I want it to cook slowly. But you can cook on it too. So anyway, I just thought I would give you a little insight into what the hell, where's Paul sitting? Well, I'm actually next to my kitchen at home, and you can see our window is all decorated with little jack-o'-lantern window clings, and that's not Beverly, by the way. Yes, she put them up for me, but no, I'm the window cling freak in the family. I like the little decorations like that, and we do change them up for fall and Christmas and winter and spring and you name it. We got often have window clings up. So anyway, Thanks for hanging around, folks, for a little bit longer. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye-bye.